Rank 1. Page. You begin your journey at 7 years old, at the absolute bottom of the feudal ladder, as a castle page. Your life isn't about swords or glory yet. It's endlessly hauling grease, water, and slops for the household. Before you ever learn to wield steel, you learn discipline by scrubbing the castle floor on hands and knees. Every task is designed to break your ego and teach you immediate obedience to your superiors. Promoted to high table duty, you learn noble manners by serving wine to lords without dropping a drop. You stand quietly in drafty halls, observing how powerful men speak, negotiate, and rule. The chill of the stone walls burns through your thin woolen tunic, but moving or shivering is forbidden. When the feast ends, your reward is clearing stale bread trenchers and grease-stained boards. You sleep on floor rushes, sharing heat with the Lord's hunting dogs. By day, you are sent to the stables, learning to care for creatures far larger and fiercer than yourself. Heavy, high-backed war saddles test your small frame, but you must lift them without stumbling. You learn every detail of horse tack, iron horseshoes, and animal care from gruff stable masters. Years pass in hard labor, hardening your mind and body for what lies ahead. Finally, basic martial training begins with heavy wooden practice swords. You are knocked into the mud repeatedly, learning how to take a hit and rise instantly. Rank 2. Squire. At 14, your diligence pays off. You are formally made a squire. No longer a kitchen servant, you are assigned to a personal knight to manage his gear and learn combat. Squire training is grueling. Mounted lance runs on horseback, test your balance and focus. If your lance strike fails to hit the target square, the quintain's heavy sandbag swings round to unhorse you. You spar daily with rival squires, using blunt steel swords till your arms burn with exhaustion. A squire's real labor begins off the field, maintenance of real knightly war gear. You oil broadswords, check every leather buckle, and ensure no link of mail is weak or cracked. Before battle, you dress your lord in 60 pounds of steel harness, piece by painstaking piece. You are a walking arsenal, carrying extra weapons, shields, and spare lances everywhere your lord goes. You learn that armor is life, and taking pride in its upkeep is the difference between survival and death. When war calls, you follow your lord into the field, enduring cold, rain, and constant mud. In camp, squires grind spearheads, sharpen blades, and keep watchful eyes on the perimeter. Night watches are long and freezing, but a squire who falls asleep on guard duty faces severe punishment. In actual battle, squires stay near the rear, ready to leap forward with spare horses or drag fallen lords to safety. In peacetime, you prove your worth at the grand tournaments, standing at the barrier rail. You hand off heavy steel helmets to your lord, right before charging horses thunder down the list. When a clash unhorses a rider, you sprint out into the dangerous dust to protect your lord from tramping hooves. Your quick actions and courage under fire do not go unnoticed by the high nobility watching above. After 7 long years as a squire, your master approves your nomination for knighthood. The evening before accolade, you undergo the purification ritual, a ceremonial bath washing away past sins. Dressed in pure white linen, you lay your sword upon the altar and kneel in silent prayer. You keep the all-night vigil of the arms, standing alone in total silence without food or sleep. As the dawn light breaks through the stained glass, your long night of spiritual purification concludes. The Lord enters, taps your shoulder with the flat of a sword, and pronounces the ancient accolade. Rank 3, Knight Bachelor. Buckling on mail and golden spurs, your true life of steel begins. With your new knightly title comes real responsibility and your very first command. You inspect your longsword, knowing that out in the borderlands, status means nothing without skill. Leading a patrol through treacherous forests, you stay vigilant for regional brigands. An ambush. Outlaws spring from the woods, but you draw your blade without hesitation. Steel clashes on steel as you parry an attacker's spear with practiced speed. Your victory is decisive, yielding valuable ransoms and earning respect from your men. To prove your chivalric prowess, you enter the prestigious regional tournament lists. Lowering your heavy lance, you thunder down the tilt barrier at full gallop. Impact. Your lance shatters squarely against your opponent's shield, unhorsing him. Cheering crowds roar as you receive the champion's purse from admiring nobles. Your repeated victories bring you before the realm's high council once again. The Duke snips off the pointed tail of your knightly pennon, reshaping it into a square banner. Rank 4, Knight Banneret. You now lead whole companies under your own coat of arms. You step into full plate armor, custom forged and etched with your personal heraldic lions. Inside the war tent, you study tactical maps, directing captains where to strike. You deploy siege machinery to break the stalemate of a stubborn enemy stronghold. Marching through the muddy siege trenches, you inspect your frontline defenses. With a sharp bow of command, you order massive trebuchets to loose their stones. Through smoke and dust, you watch as the fortress walls begin to crumble. The castle walls collapse, opening a breach for your grand army to press the assault. When open war erupts on the misty plains, you lead hundreds of armored soldiers. Your square banner flaps high in the storm winds as you raise your broadsword. You charge at the tip of the cavalry wedge, leading the armored strike directly into enemy lines. The battle devolves into a brutal grind of iron, rain, and mud. Deflecting blows with your heavy steel gauntlets, you refuse to yield an inch of ground. When your spearmen falter, you raise your sword high and rally them around your banner. In single combat amidst the chaos, you strike down the opposing warlord. The enemy army breaks and flees, leaving you undisputed master of the field. As night falls over the camp, your soldiers raise their flagons to celebrate your triumph. The surrendering commander surrenders his sword to you, cementing your tactical glory. You return to the royal court, not just as a champion, but as a legendary war hero. Rank 5, Baron. In gratitude for saving the kingdom, the monarch awards you rich manors and land deeds. You ascend to rank 5, a great baron and landed lord. You rule over vast estates. From your solar's high stone window, you gaze out across miles of land that you now own. Tax revenues flow into your treasury as your vassal domains flourish under your rule. You stroll through your castle yard, directing architects as they expand your mighty fortress. Locals bow respectfully as you pass, honoring the ruler who brought peace and prosperity. In your private hall, you feast on roasted game with trusted advisors and regional lords. With your signet ring, you press hot wax seals onto treaties that shape the realm's politics. A grand woven tapestry in your hall depicts your incredible rise from a humble page to a sovereign lord. But rank brings heavy burdens, as royal messengers arrive with grave news of war across the border. Before the king's high seat, your counsel is sought above all other lords in the realm. The king appoints you high commander, bestowing the royal golden baton of supreme army leadership. You accept the solemn duty, knowing the entire kingdom rests upon your strategic wisdom. Rank 6, Duke. Your master armorers fit you into a gilded plate harness engineered for the army commander. A heavy crimson mantle is clasped across your chest, marking your supreme rank. Before your castle walls, thousands of armed soldiers assemble under your grand dragon standard. You mount a towering armored warhorse, riding out at the front of a massive royal host. Column after column of men-at-arms and heavy cavalry follow your steady lead across the land. At nightfall, Your vast encampment becomes a sea of glowing campfires stretching to the horizon. Inside the grand pavilion, you map out the decisive strategy with your veteran captains. You position vanguard units and heavy cavalry reserves with meticulous precision. Dawn breaks over the misty valley as two massive armies stand arrayed for the ultimate clash. High on the ridge, you raise your silver marshal's baton to give the order for general advance. Trumpets blare across the hills as your armored knight wall charges forward into the fray. In the thick of combat, you fight not just for personal glory, but for the safety of the kingdom. With a decisive tactical flank maneuver, you break the enemy lines and claim total victory. Your triumphant soldiers roar your name across the mud-stained valley. Returning to the capital, the grateful king elevates you to duke, granting vast royal duchies. You take your place at the right hand of the throne, revered by peers across all lands. Rank 7. Elder Lord. Decades of peace pass, and your smooth hairless head glints under the warm afternoon sun. Walking through the yard, you watch young pages scrubbing shields, remembering your own start. You stop to correct a nervous young page's stance as he swings a heavy wooden training sword. In the quiet stables, you stroke the muzzle of an aged war horse that once carried you to war. You preside over a grand winter feast, surrounded by family, vassals, and loyal retainers. Young squires listen in wide-eyed awe as you recount tales of ancient tournament victories. In the peaceful chapel, you light candles in memory of fallen brothers who fought at your side. You bow in quiet reflection, offering gratitude for a life filled with honor and chivalric duty. By the solar fireplace, you present your original knightly broadsword to your young grandson. The young squire holds the pommel with deep reverence, ready to carry your name forward. The entire castle stands as one to honor your decades of selfless service and legendary leadership. From page to squire, bachelor to banneret, baron to duke, your entire life was forged in steel. Looking over your domain, you see thriving villages, peaceful fields, and safe merchant roads. A fresh generation of hopeful knights trains below, inspired by your storied name. Your original battle-worn armor rests on a wooden stand, a silent monument to battles survived. A colorful stained glass window now graces the chapel, depicting your ladder of rank. You rest comfortably in your carved chair, content that your duty to the realm is complete. The banner of your noble house flies high over the castle keep, respected across all lands. You smile softly as the castle gates open, watching new knights ride forth to serve. You lived every tier of the knightly ladder, proving that with courage and honor, anyone can become a legend.